What up, ladies and gentlemen? It's the Chinnist. Today is May 1st, Wednesday, New Comic Book Day. I have my haul here of 25 with 20 different titles throughout my Midtown on the left-hand side as well. I have read through this stack. Starting off on the DC side, Justice League number 23. Excellent storyline that we have going on right now in the 6th dimension. The artist, Jorge Jimenez, man, excellent artist, man. I love that artist. So many covers that I was able to pick up by him, but very few titles that he actually does the interior art that I picked up. Love this artwork, man. 4.25, 4.5 for the superhero genre that I just love, man. So again, we're kind of like a future timeline, so to speak. There's an evil Superman, you know, I kind of leave it at that. Some Mixoplex still fighting Batmite out on the Earth side of things, and a little bit of a dilemma that Batman has in regard to Superman, who is trapped on this universe that has hardly any sun left for him, you know, only enough sun for him to survive. And he's still trying to get off this planet or moon that he's been trapped on for quite some time now. Great storyline, man. Love it. So, yep, Justice League number 23. Brand new one out this week, Deceased, number 1 of 6. So, in my opinion, this was DC's, response to Marvel Zombies. I love zombies, and I was not a fan of the Marvel Zombie title, to tell you the truth. I think they were just a little bit too powerful, in my opinion. It was impossible to fight them. So, any opponent that's too strong, it's hard to write storylines for, in my opinion. This one done very well. So this was kind of based on a techno virus that Apocalypse started out. And I won't give you too much of how that kind of started out here with, Cyborg is involved. But a virus is released, it spreads extremely quickly. You do not have to be bitten. However, once you are bitten, you do become this zombie. But it actually starts out with, just social media. So pretty cool concept, a little bit different from other zombie storylines that are out there. And, these zombies like haul ass, like, 28 Days Later. So, yep, a lot better issue number 1 that I, prefer over Marvel Zombies. So, yep, DC Deceased. Next up, another number 1, Year of the Villain. So this is kind of like a little prelude that sets up this summer event that DC is having this year. 3 different storylines, each one kind of setting up the individual storylines going on later on. First one kind of deals with like Legion of Doom, somewhat taking over the United States. The second one is somewhat of a new character and a little bit of a quest to find out who this character is right here. And there is someone who's kind of thrown out to see if it's that person or not. I guess we'll find out who that is. And the last one somewhat dealing with Perpetua and the current storyline that the Justice League is on. So, yep, enjoy them all so far. And, these 3 storylines look pretty intriguing, going forward. A little bit intrigued for this summer. Green Lantern number 7. This issue, pretty cool, a little bit different. So what you have here is... you start off with Hal Jordan, kind of fighting in this world, and he has some memory. He kind of knows what's going on. He needs to survive. He has this other woman who's with him, and he knows her name, but it's like he knows her, but he doesn't know her at the same time. So you come to find out Hal Jordan is actually inside of this ring. And this woman who he's been kind of fighting alongside within this world is, comes a revelation. It's actually the AI of the ring itself. Very, very cool, man. Pretty cool concept here. So, yep, for the fantasy lovers, man, I feel this Green Lantern title is, man, pretty superb, in my opinion. If you do not like fantasy, man, this is not for you. But start off a little bit rocky for me, but, man, I really enjoy this title overall. Yep, Green Lantern number 7. Part number 4 of the Terminus Agenda. This is the Deathstroke Teen Titans crossover. Excellent stuff, pretty good action, along with pretty good dialogue and drama. The team is being torn apart due to the team finding out that all these villains were all locked up by Robin underneath the Teen Titan headquarters. So, to their surprise, Deathstroke actually enacts the Terminus Agenda. The Terminus Protocol is what they call it here in this title. I won't give away what that is, but you actually find out what that Terminus Protocol is. Very cool, and we'll see where this kind of takes the team going forward, because there's a lot of trust lost with Robin at this point in time. Deathstroke, number 43. Super Sons, number 10. I love Jonathan Kent and Damian Wayne, man. Again, I've said in many videos in the past, it's their banter that they have between each other. I felt the humor throughout this entire title, this one issue was, man, great. I just loved the humor here, man. So yep, overall, I'm really disappointed. There's only a few more issues here left. And, after that, all these events happen before Jonathan actually goes with his grandfather into he travels and he comes back older. So, this will be it for the Super Sons. A little bit disappointed with that, but 2 more issues to go. Love this title so far. Young Justice, number 5. This was another one that started with a number 1 where I was a little bit, on the fence if I enjoyed it or not. There was not too much explanation as far as like where all these characters came from. Why did Robin kind of switch his uniform? What is going on? So in this one, you actually find a little bit of history, a little bit of unlocking to where they somewhat explain why memories were lost and why they could not remember like where each other were, that they were a team at one point in time. Pretty good reveal, in my opinion. Alongside you have the action that's kind of going on Gem World with them trying to escape. So, yep, pretty cool issue overall. I do enjoy this issue. I just wish they would have explained more at the very beginning. So, yep, Young Justice number 5. One of the DC IDW amalgams, so to speak. Batman TMNT number 3. I absolutely loved the first 2 issues that came out, or the first 2 volumes that came out so far. This one kind of, followed suit. We kind of left off where we were on volume number 2, how the characters kind of evolved, Batman, Robin, and the Turtles themselves into this new volume. And this one also has a brand new appearance. You have, and I forgot what his name was, but he's Shredder, and he's kind of like the Batman who laughs, like all in the same. So brand new, evolution of a character, let's say. Not a brand new character, but yeah, pretty cool concept nonetheless. They're kind of merging some of the multiverse into the storyline now. So everything's kind of been like segmented, kind of contained on this one world, but now you have it to where there's a multiverse kind of going on. So yep, very cool, intriguing story writing now at this point in time. I'm sure they will finish it off here at this number of this 3rd volume, but pretty cool to finish it off this way, in my opinion. War of the Realms. This was like one of those little one-shots. This is a Strikeforce, the Dark Elf realm. So what this does, it's you have to read this one before issue number 3 of War of the Realms, and this one kind of expands on these little side missions that I'm sorry, I forgot what Thor's mother's name was. Not Hela, but man, what is her name? But anyways, she's putting this little task force together. She's at the Avengers mansion, the Avengers headquarters, and it's Steve Rogers who kind of pointed her into these team members for her mission that she has to go on. And she's trying to destroy the Black Bifrost Bridge is what her mission is. So here are her teammates. You have the Ghost Rider, Punisher, She-Hulk, and Blade. And always cool to see Blade, man, like whenever you can, in my opinion. But they kind of learn a little bit about each other here to go on to the mission, going forward. And they kind of talk about the mission a little bit more in issue number 3 of War of the Realms. So I thought this was cover A. Apparently this is one of the, they call this the International Connecting Variants. I think this is like cover E. It's a 1-for-1. I did pick up a few incentives on this go around. So I picked up, this was a incentive by Victor Hugo. This was listed for $15 at Midtown. Pretty cool, more of a CGI, computer graphic version of Loki. Kind of like a more of Incredibles 2, like the softer, tone to it. Then Greg Horn also had one more of the van incentives. I think this was like a lower incentive. This was just a $7 listed at Midtown, so maybe a 7-to-1 ratio. But man, I love these vans by Greg Horn. So on to the storyline, man, again, action-packed. I love this title so far. And, I really loved how they jumped right into the war. There was no building up, man. They jumped right into it. And here's all the heroes kind of rushing out into the street to join the fight. Love that, man. So going back to that last issue, here is where they start discussing Steve Rogers for her to go onto this mission, go choose these other characters, these other heroes, which we just kind of covered in the last issue. You also see how Daredevil becomes a god without fear. This is how he picks up the powers of Heimdall and how he gets a sword and able to do, going forward. And they always, I'm not sure why they went back in time because they already showed him with his powers. So I'm not sure why they did this little time jump here, this one issue. But nonetheless, here's that one issue where they went into the Dark Elf world to try to go destroy the Black Bifrost. That's kind of all centered around this one issue. So, yep, a lot of good action. Love it. War of the Realms #3. Savage Avengers. So, a couple incentives on this one as well. This one was by Kim Jacinto, and this was listed for $10 over at Midtown. I love the Wolverine Conan, as well as this was a Wolverine standalone. This was listed for $25 at Midtown by Simone Bianchi, I think is how you pronounce her name. So I was able to pick up 2 of those, one at each of my LCS. I picked up all these incentives for cover price. Both my incentives, both of my LCS allow that. So pretty cool, man. I think the only 2 LCS in Houston that actually sells their incentives for cover price. Love those guys. So Savage Avengers. So everyone was pretty hyped up for Conan to come into our, Earth 616 continuity. He went into the last Avengers storyline, and then he was kind of dumped into the Savage world. He's kind of trapped there. He doesn't have any other Avengers with him. He was kind of a solo type of travel. So down in the Savage Land, you find there's a cult who is worshiping a god that comes from a planet that's beyond Pluto, is what they explain here. And they have to do a lot of sacrifices in order to, appease this god. So this is what's going on down in the Savage Land. The Hand is involved in order to go get people to sacrifice. So that's what their role is here. And they run into Conan. Pretty good battle here. Conan eventually runs into Wolverine. Wolverine is there to go save a friend who has been kidnapped in order to be sacrificed. So that's how they kind of run into each other. Very cool battle ensues. I don't want to show any more of the battle, but man, everyone's been kind of waiting for this battle here. Pretty cool stuff. I enjoyed it enough for me to continue on in this little Savage Avengers. I think it's a mini series up to #6. But yeah, based on #1, I'm going to go ahead and go forward with this one. I think a lot of people kind of complained about this one, from what I heard for just early reviews, but I don't know. I enjoyed it. Marvel Team Up #2. I enjoyed that last one, which obviously included Kamala Khan and Peter Parker. And the last one, a little bit more creative, where you could go from either the back or the front, and you ended up in the middle either way. Pretty cool concept. They did not do that one here. It's more of a traditional, storytelling, art storytelling here. Straight up Freaky Friday. They have switched personalities, so Kamala Khan is in Peter Parker's body and vice versa. So this is them kind of learning how to, learning each other, and Kamala Khan went straight to go take off Peter Parker's mask to go see who he was. I thought that was pretty funny. But here they kind of learn how to live each other's lives a little bit before they're able to learn, what happened to them or how to reverse it. So a lot of humor. This is a very light-hearted type of storyline here. If you're looking for that, this is for you. This is not, anything life-changing by any means, but a pretty good, fun, heartfelt type of storyline. Champions #5. Very good issue. For those of y'all who have been keeping up with Champions since Volume 1 came out with the original team, this one issue kind of gives like a status quo as far as where the Champions have been, what the current considered teammates are right now, and as you see on the front cover, we actually get the return of Cyclops. Very, very good heartfelt moment between Cyclops and Kamala Khan. So Cyclops actually explains, so Kamala Khan, she was actually a teammate with a younger version of Cyclops. That version went back in time, back to his original timeline. Cyclops explains to Kamala Khan that he actually has all of his memories from the other Cyclops. So very heartfelt as far as like how they kind of talk about that and what kind of goes on as far as, you know, he's been a champion. He feels he'll always be a champion. Very cool scene, man. I really enjoyed that scene between Cyclops and Kamala Khan, man. Worth it just for this one issue. So, yep, Champions number 5. Star Wars number 65. So I absolutely love Star Wars, man. I love all the movies out there. These storylines in the comics, man, they are stupendous, man. They are all actually canon to where anything that happens here, you know, actually happens in the Star Wars universe. So, you know, that in and of itself, I find very, very cool. Love the artwork that kind of goes along with this as well. So what they're trying to do here in this world, it's a pretty good battle that's going on. They're trying to destroy the spike that kind of cuts off all communication from the rebels to the Empire, or the Empire is what's stopping them. So I think they've destroyed like 3 of 5 of the generators to turn the spike off. And so, you know, you have, you know, right in the middle of the action here, you have Luke Skywalker, who has been teamed up with Banthet. And you find out there's a little bit of a double cross here kind of going on. So, yep, don't want to give away anything else, but very cool, intricately laid storyline, in my opinion. Yep, Star Wars number 65. Cosmic Ghost Rider Destroys Marvel History. Love this title so far. Now, this is one where I wasn't really too sure if I would enjoy it or not, but man, that number 1 pretty much got me. You know, you have Frank, who went back in time, so he's able to have dialogue with his daughter that he never really ever interacted with when he was younger. And you kind of see his daughter is kind of starting to become Frank. And, you know, Frank definitely does not want that. So he's trying to interact with her, you know, as best as he can to try to give her, you know, be a father figure to her at this point in time in his late life. But here in this one issue, you actually have to where he receives a Phoenix Force instead of Jean Grey. So the X-Men history is a little bit altered, but overall the same end results, you could say. But a lot of good comedy kind of, you know, pushed in here by the Cosmic Ghost Rider, man. I felt it was pretty funny. They did like the artwork that was similar to that Grand Design X-Men comic that came out a couple, I guess they're on number 2, number 3 is about to come out. So I thought that was pretty cool, pretty funny in and of itself. So yep, if you enjoy the X-Men, man, this is a pretty good one in my opinion. Cosmic Ghost Rider Destroys Marvel History number 3. Speaking of X-Men, Uncanny X-Men number 17. I absolutely love the X-Men. This is where it all started for me in comics. I love it how Scott and Wolverine are trying to put the team back together. This is where they're actually mourning Wolfsbane. You know, shown here with the X over her. She actually died, and she was actually killed by a little group of human mutant haters, is what kind of is explained here in this one issue. And this is kind of how Wolverine deals with that versus the rest of the X-Men. You know, I'll kind of leave it at that. But man, very cool stuff. I love to see Wolverine, you know, what makes him tick. I always love Logan, and man, this is a pretty good character psyche, you know, study in my opinion. So, yep, Uncanny X-Men number 17. Star Wars Age of Rebellion Han Solo. So these are all little one-shots, you know, based on each of the characters shown on the front cover. Han Solo was, you know, almost everyone's favorite, right? It was either Luke or Han Solo, you know, which one did you love more? So this one captures us. This is between episode number 4 and episode number 5. So they have not gotten to Hoth yet, and Han Solo basically just blew up helped the Rebel Alliance to blow up the Death Star. He's gone on 1 or 2 missions, and at this point in time, he has all of his money received from the rebellion, and he's right about to go off on his little private, you know, go pay off Jabba the Hutt and do his other private personal things. But, you know, he keeps on getting drawn back into the rebellion. He keeps on trying to clarify to everyone, you know, he's not part of the rebellion, but, you know, everyone knows he's so good-hearted that he just kind of always stuck around, and he eventually became, you know, an integral part of the rebellion. So this is like his little character of, you know, the in-between of, you know, I'm not really part of them. I'm just kind of like a, you know, a lone solo guy, but, you know, you find out he's a pretty good character, you know. So, yep, Han Solo, Age of Rebellion. Domino Hotshots. Love what Gail Simone did with Domino, man, just love it. The artwork and I think there's two different artists on this. I can't tell where one starts and one stops, but man, the artwork on this one was pretty stupendous, in my opinion. You know, again, going towards the superhero genre, man. Very detailed, you know, very energetic type of artwork here. Very, very fitting for this title, in my opinion. You know, the art's always kind of different issue to issue, man. Really, really do enjoy that. So, yeah, really a lot of good action. The dialogue, the sarcasm that's kind of, you know, thrown throughout here. Deadpool getting thrown into the mix of this team, man, absolutely love it. And it's pretty cool how Deadpool finds like a little bit of love here on this team. But yeah, if you are a Domino fan, you gotta go pick this one up. The last volume of Domino, man, kind of led right into this one. So if you like the last one, you will enjoy this one. Domino Hotshots. Dead Man Logan 7 of 12. I have absolutely loved this series going forward so far, man. I thought 12 issues was a little bit long, but man, it's all been very exciting and very intriguing, you know, all the way through. Even though you knew what Logan's story was, there's been enough twist in here that kind of threw off that storyline that everyone kind of knew. So, man, love it. The gore, the action that's kind of built into this, man, does not disappoint in any way, shape, or form. Absolutely love it, man. If you like that first volume, man, impossible for you not to see how this actually finishes out. Dead Man Logan 7 of 12. Only picked up one independent, no Image, nothing else, only one from Aftershock this month. And I'm sorry, this week. I was not even going to pick up this one until I kind of started thumbing through it. So, Descendant. This is somewhat of a conspiracy theory type of storyline. I love a lot of different conspiracy theories that are out there. This one follows a older kidnapping that actually happened, what was it, like in 1940 something, 1948 or something of that nature. And with that kidnapping, you had a symbol that was left behind by the people who did the kidnapping. Here we go here. It was Charles Lindbergh's son who was actually kidnapped, and they left this symbol. So going forward, you have a very high, prominent type of people in society. Their children are getting kidnapped or they're disappearing, and the symbol is showing up again. So, yep, very intriguing. Enough for me to go forward with a number 2. I thought the artwork, you know, at least a 4 out of 5 for this one. So, yep, Descendant number 1. Guys, that's going to be it for this week's brand new haul. Should you enjoy what you see here, please like and subscribe. Talk to you later.